I am Marie of Historical Belle, and welcome to 2025! How did we get here so fast? Oh my goodness, 2024 just zoomed on by, it felt like. It started out very precariously for me personally with my last work situation, and then I found a wonderful new job. I know, lucky. It's great. And it altered my sewing a little bit, just the different times and demands that it had on me. But I still feel like I did a pretty good job of getting the stuff that I wanted to do done, and some other projects popped up that I hadn't even imagined until the opportunities present themselves. And yeah, it was just, it overall was a fantastic year for me personally. Yeah, I'm here to talk about it with you, so thanks for clicking on this video. Remember to like and subscribe and become part of the Historical Belle Society over on Patreon. Thank you so much to my Patreons. 2024 was the first full year of my Patreon subscription to the Historical Belle Society. So thank you so much to my wonderful Patreons. I am so thankful for your support. I'm thankful for everybody's support, but particularly my Patreon support, because it's just, feels very, especially at the time when life seemed unstable, like that was just very nice to know that that was there. So thank you so much. It has allowed us, my husband and I, to do more, to do better videos, to talk about more things and to show you more things. So thank you so much. Now, it's kind of become a little bit of a yearly tradition for me to review 2024 and my sewing projects, and then to talk about the sewing projects that I have planned for 2025, like a little sneak preview of things to come. And this is an interesting year because, like, the first year that I was doing YouTube, I was doing like a video every single week. I was, trying to find my style. But then the year I got married, yes, so like the year leading up and then after I got married, I could like barely do a video a month, it felt like, because I had just been so much focusing on, life stuff that was happening that, the videos kind of went to the wayside, and then I got like super behind, and then like I started trying to do like a sustainable amount of videos. So last year I did and was very good about doing 2 a month, or every other week. I put out a video on Saturdays. And let me know if you like Saturdays or not. I felt like that was usually a pretty good day for people, but if you're like, I put it out on Thursday or something, let me know. I'm open to changing it up. But a lot of the videos that I put out last year in 2024 were actually things that I had made the year before that, because I've gotten like a little bit of a backlog. So a fair amount of the first portion of the year were things that I had made last year, and then the second half of the year were things that I made in the first half of the year. So we're like a good 6 months behind on video content. So if you want to see things happening in real time, my Patreon supporters, they actually get to see things being made in real time. Not necessarily the videos, but they see photos and updates of things that are happening like right now to me versus things that happen 6 months later, which a lot of time on Instagram and YouTube is 6 months later. Definitely YouTube. Instagram, it depends. I know. And they also get to see more, because Instagram, even though Instagram now lets you post up to like 20 photos, I was like, wow. But the Patreon, they get to see more photos. That's one of the things that they get. And also a newsletter. I have a newsletter that comes out at the beginning of each month that talks about like what I'm doing and what I've been up to the last month. I think it's really cute. Lucky has a column that she writes in the newsletter. It's true. It's so cute. It's one of my favorite columns. Let's talk about some of the first things that I made in 2024. The first thing that I completed in 2024 was my suffragist dress, or my 1910s white dress. I have used it for lots of different things. And one of the things that you're going to be seeing on my Instagram is I'm going to be putting out photos of every time I wore that dress this year, so in the first full year of its completion, because I think it's really good to think about what we're making and how many times we're actually going to wear it. So a lot of the things that I make, I want to make to become part of my historical wardrobe and then wear for a really, really long time and for multiple things, and just changing things up a little bit here or there, adding a new accessory. It can really just change the entire look of the outfit. There are a lot of things that I love making a new dress for an event, you know, like I am so here for that. But I also want to think about, like, am I actually going to use this more than once? Because if I'm just going to use it once, like, that seems, I don't want to put all that much time and effort and materials into that. So I'm going to start thinking about that and posting about that as well. This dress is probably one of the most historically accurate dresses that I have made, because I made it out of cotton bed sheets and with a pattern from Butterick, one of their retro patterns, which is a reprint with maybe, sometimes like they don't change anything and then sometimes they update it a little bit. I think this is one that they might have updated a little bit. But I mean, it's still like, it's a historic pattern. And then I also sewed it on my hand crank antique sewing machine. I originally thought that this sewing machine was from the 1890s, but then further investigation shows that it's actually from like the 1920s. I'm not sure if I'm looking at the exact right website, because I looked at one website a while ago that said 1890s, and then I looked at this other website that said 1920s. It definitely exists between those two, which would be the right time period for the 19-teens dress. So it had the right fabric, the right pattern, and the right sewing machine. That all adds up to this dress being like super authentic. And I wore this for my old work's homeschool day about World War I. I did a little suffragist presentation. I've worn this to another suffrage presentation that I did it was actually at my grandma's senior living center, and it was very cute, and I really enjoyed giving that presentation. And then I wore it as well to the Titanic Museum, because I was thinking, oh my goodness, this dress, you know, wear my Heart of the Ocean necklace with it, you know, do my hair a little different. It kind of looks like the dress that Rose wears at the end in her kind of like dream sequence, where she goes and she's on the grand staircase and she ends up marrying Jack, like she had always dreamed of. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is perfect, because I was already going to the Titanic Museum with my husband for our 2nd anniversary. We went on a trip to Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, and it was delightful. I had actually never been there before, so it was a whole new experience for me, and the Titanic Museum is amazing. Oh my goodness, if you ever have a chance to go, go. I spent like 2.5 hours in there. Probably could have spent more time. It was, whew, fabulous. I loved it. The next thing that I made, I was not planning to make necessarily this year, but the opportunity presented itself. So at my old work, I ended up hosting, in collaboration with Atlanta Historic Dance, a ball, a benefit ball that was Outlander themed, and we were setting it, since the museum was themed towards Appalachian and American history, not like Scottish. We set the theme of the ball to be Outlander, inspired by Outlander's later seasons when they were in the Appalachian Mountains. So I set it as more of a like Brianna and Roger's wedding from season 5, and that was the whole theme. Like the reason why the ball was happening is because it was a celebration of Roger and Brianna's wedding. So my husband and I played Brianna and Roger, and we did like a whole wedding reenactment scene in front of the cabin that's at the museum, and it was so cute. It actually ended up being my last work day at that museum, so it was incredibly bittersweet. It very much felt like, okay, I'm having my wedding and then I'm going off and like honeymooning into my new life and never coming back here, but I know. But for us to play those characters, I wanted to make sure that we had outfits that looked like them. So I made my husband a coat and breeches out of a very nice blue linen so that he could look like Roger. And I meant to make a waistcoat, and I just never got around to it. I still have the pattern like sitting right here staring at me being like, you need to finish this! But we just had him use another waistcoat. Lucky it's okay. And I was very glad to actually get that done, because my husband did not really have an 18th century outfit, like, at all. He kind of had, like, a vest and a jacket that I had, like, thrown together in 3 hours that wasn't lined, and was like, looking back at it. And he didn't have anything to wear. He would just always wear his kilt. I know, Lucky. He didn't have pants. He didn't have breeches. So I was very happy to finally make him an outfit so he has something for the 18th century, which is an era that we do a fair amount. So that was like a new century for him, like, check, like, we got an outfit, we got him a cravat. I need to get him a cocked hat, or what we would call a tricorn hat. So if you know of a good but yet reasonably a good yet reasonably priced tricorn hat that I can get? Let me know down in the comments. Also, my husband has a big head. No, not figuratively, but literally his head is very large. So one that has like an extra large sized hat as well. And then, of course, to go with that same event, I made a reproduction, a historically accurate version, if you will, of Brianna's wedding dress. And this is, I think, one of like the most involved projects that I've done, embroidery-wise. I embroidered the skirt, I embroidered the jacket, and really the back of the dress, like the little peplum in the back there, I embroidered all of that. And then also I embroidered the fichu. And I think that was probably one of Lucky's favorite projects because she loved sitting like right by the embroidery machine, and the fabric would kind of come and like make her a little fort off the table, and she would hide in there, and she thought it was like the best thing, didn't you? Didn't you? It was so cute. So I think that might be Lucky's favorite project of the year. So those outfits are very sentimental to me because we did wear them on my last day of work at that museum that gave me my start. And we did wear them again. We wore them to the summer soiree at Atlanta Historic Dance hosted for its members and guests, and it was so lovely. And I did my hair more natural for that, instead of wearing the red wig which I had worn to the ball to look like Brianna. And I liked it with my natural hair better. I was like, I look more like me, but less like Brianna. So I like that a lot, and I was thinking about entering those outfits into a competition at some point, like a cosplay competition. We didn't make it to Dragon Con this year. We might this next year, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So that was my first time using a Scoop and Virgil pattern to make the bodice for Brianna's jacket, and I really liked it. I thought it was great patterns. I'm starting to branch out into my different historical patterning places. There's also just way more than when I started. Like when I started, there was only like 3 or 4, and then like historical ones that I knew of, and then like the Simplicity Butterick stuff. And they didn't have as many vintage patterns either. So it's really awesome to see the historic and vintage patterning community grow and sharing their work and all of that. I think it is absolutely amazing. I love that. And also I'm getting better at reading like the book patterns. And also there's more books being written. I feel like this is just like this area of study is just growing rapidly, and it's amazing. I love that. So, and you know, I have videos for all of these things. They're all linked down below, and I try to be very transparent about what books or patterns that I'm using. And if you ever have questions, please go ahead and comment. I'm very, very happy to share my resources, and I'm usually pretty good about responding within a few days. So please, I love hearing from y'all. I love answering questions and helping you on your journey. So my next dress that I made, I also didn't have any intentions of making at the start of 2024, but it just kind of happened. So we got very involved in the SCA, for the Society for Creative Anachronisms, and I posted some videos about that as well. And this year, our shire, the Shire of Beaufort, hosted an event called Golden Lily. That's kind of like their event. And the theme this year was Spring in Italy. And I was like, you don't have to dress to the theme, but I like dressing to the theme, especially if we're the ones hosting the event. Like I want to be one with the theme. So I ended up making a 1530s Florence dress from Italy. So Florence Renaissance, Italian Renaissance. And again, I had like no intention. That was not on my radar for 2024. Like a lot of what I made, it just kind of like happens, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to make something for that. Like I'm doing it. I'm making that. Those were not in my video from last year. I had a laundry list of things that I made, like said I was going to make or try to make last year, and a few of them happened, but a lot of them I did not, and then these other things just popped up, and here we are. That's how life works, right? You plan, and then sometimes some of the things go to the plan and some things just pop up. I made this with fabric that I had for forever, so I loved getting to stash bust. I've been trying to be better about stash busting and not buying as much fabric. It's gone okay. It's gone okay. I still buy a lot of fabric, but I have gotten slightly better. Yay me. I used a McCall's pattern that Angela Clayton did, and I modified it a lot to make it more historically accurate and less Ren Fairy, because the one that she made was a little bit more like intended for more general mass use. You know, it's a McCall's pattern, not like one that has the minutiae of historical detailing. So this was my first jump into Florence Renaissance. And this is what happened, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out and all the modifications that I did. For my first attempt at Italian Renaissance, I think I did great. And also that's another check, era and place, you know, off the proverbial elusive checklist of making something from every time and place. So, yay, did that. I wore it multiple times to different events that the SCA hosted. Basically, like any fancy, this became like my new fancy dress. So anytime that there was a fancy event that the SCA hosted, I was wearing this dress. Or a fancy portion of the event, like court or feast or the ball, I was wearing this dress. Last year, I made a Roman outfit for myself. Again, for like a homeschool day that my old work was doing. But I had not really worn it anywhere else, but I was like, oh my goodness, like everyone, no matter what their persona is in the SCA, they kind of do like Roman or Greek during the summer just because it breathes, it's loose, and that's what you're going to want to wear when it's just so hot outside. So I was deciding, I was like, for this one event, I was going to dress Roman, and I like to coordinate with my husband. We just think it's very fun to like match or coordinate in whatever we're doing, because like we're a couple and we like to visually be read as a couple that goes together. And by no means are you required to do that within the SCA. There are people, like couples, who have completely different personas. But it's just something that we like to do, okay? It's just who we are. We just accept it. It's cute, okay? Now, he really enjoyed that and basically was like, I'm Roman now and I'm never going back. This is my Roman Empire. So he was Roman all summer, has worn it multiple times, has found it to be very comfortable. So that's great. We have our summer outfits now and they're Roman and coordinating, so I'm sure he's going to get a lot of use out of that as time goes on. One of the events that we went to this year was a World War II 1940s USO themed swing dance. It was so much fun. I absolutely adored it. It was our first 1940s event that either of us had gone to. So I didn't really have much like 40s stuff, like first 40s reenactment event. I had a couple 40s outfits because I've been doing the Molly Project, and don't worry, everyone who's worried about the Molly Project, we'll get there. I'm going to talk about it, okay? So, I had been doing the Molly Project. I had her 1940s outfits, but none of them really felt swing dance to me. Like, I didn't feel like I'm like, yeah, I would wear this to like a swing dance. It didn't quite feel right. So I ended up making myself this really pretty blue dress from 1944 with a butterick pattern. It kind of reminds me of the dress from The Notebook. I thought it was very, very, very cute. I've had this fabric forever, so again, I'm using fabric from my stash, check. And this pattern that I had in my stash for forever, so check. And it felt like it kind of went with the Molly Project, like it was like the vibe of the Molly Project, but it did not look like any of her dresses that she had made. The neckline was really interesting, and like the tucks that were in the body of the dress were really odd. Honestly, I wasn't quite sure if I liked it. Like, I wore it to the swing dance and then, like, it felt okay. But everyone said that I looked like a nurse when I was wearing it. And, yeah, I kind of look like a nurse from Call the Midwife. I just need a red sweater. So I did buy a red sweater so I could be a nurse from Call the Midwife and wherever I wear that dress again. But because I wasn't sure how I felt about, like, the neckline kind of felt weird to, like, wear on, like, an everyday level, I hadn't really, I think I only wore that dress the one time. I have plans. I'm going to try wearing it again with the red sweater that I have now purchased and see if I like it better. Like, if it's fun and, like, I might wear it to work. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. The neckline was just kind of interesting. I had so much going on and so much popping up this year that the Molly Project did kind of fall to the wayside. I realized that I did not post anything about the Molly Project at all this year, and I felt bad about that because I wanted to finish it. My goal was to finish it in 2024, and then I didn't, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. Like, but I did make one thing for the Molly Project. I just didn't get it edited. I made her birthday outfit. I made it as a pinafore apron because it's a pinafore dress. And anyway, my Patreon supporters have gotten to see pictures of it, the making process of it, and pictures of it. But I did not get the video done in time. My goal is to have it done, the video done by April, which is Molly's birthday. So it will be coming out, but probably like April. And then I also have plans to make her Miss Victory dress and her pajamas like ASAP, like very, very soon. So for an event. So I have given myself a deadline. Like it's not just like the videos, but actually like I'm going to make these things for this event that's coming up in February. We're going to go to my husband and I were literally just talking about this before I came down here to film. I think we're going to go to another different USO World War II themed swing dance hosted by the Chattanooga Vintage Dancers. I think that'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be like Valentine's Day weekend. Let me know if I'll see you there. But we think we're going to do that, and it's very close to, well, obviously Valentine's Day and then also our anniversary, so it's kind of like our anniversary Valentine's Day trip. This is something that I did not video at all because I was trying to make it in a matter of days, and I already had the making of this pattern but in a different size up on my YouTube. I made my niece another 1860s toddler young child dress, and she is just so cute. I cannot believe she has grown so much. There is no way she's fitting into the old dress that I had made her without drastic modifications. And so I just was like, I'm just going to make you a new dress. This one might last you a little bit longer. We'll see. But she came to a reenactment with us when we were doing a historical dance demonstration. And it was so cute. She watched us, and then when we were doing the group dances, she came in, and I was a little worried because, you know, she's young. And I was like, I don't know if she's going to catch on to this, but oh my goodness, she was so good at the patty cake polka. I have seen grown humans just not get it, but my little 4-year-old niece was doing the patty cake polka so well. I like hovered behind her and like was making sure like, you know, we were progressing right, and she knocked it out of the park. And it was so cute and so sweet. I really enjoyed it. So the next time we saw her, she's like, when are we going to get to go dancing again? And thankfully, we had a program coming up like really soon that she could go to. I was like, next week, honey, let's go. So then she came and she danced with us at that program too and wore her dress. And it was, I'm so excited that she is enjoying this hobby and that we can like bring her in. And I'm like, yes, I will make you so many more dresses. So our Scotland trip happened in late October, early November of 2024, and I felt pretty good about all the things I was going to make for myself. I made this dress that you might have seen on my Instagram. It was my tartan flannel dress, and then I made a matching cape. I became part of the American Duchess cape cult. Finally, it only took me like a billion years, but I did it. And then I made a cape, and then my husband was like, so you're gonna have a cape in Scotland? I was like, yeah. It's like, can I have a cape when we go to Scotland? And I was like, oh, well, it's only fair. Just wish you asked for it, like, you know, a little bit more than like 2 weeks out. Because he also wanted a quilted, patched lining situation. Anyway, he helped, so we got it done. But Scotland was amazing. Oh my goodness, just so magical. I loved every second of it. We got to go with 2 of our very good friends who are Stephen, brother Paul, and his lovely wife Jamie, and we just had the best time going all around Scotland. We went to Edinburgh, then up to Inverness, over to Isle of Skye, and down to Glasgow. And the history, the food, the people, just everything was amazing, and getting to spend time with our very good friends and family was just the icing on the absolute best cake. And I miss Scotland. I wouldn't go back. Steve and I kept kind of like looking at each other and be like, so, we moving here? How serious are you about moving? How serious are you about moving here? How serious are you about living here? So I have not done any videos about what I wore to Scotland or anything like that. That will be coming in the next couple of months though. So that's, I'm planning all of that for, I think I have it set for like March-ish. Cross our fingers, like February, March, the Scotland's content will be coming out. And but I have posted on my Instagram and on some YouTube shorts about our trip, and oh my goodness, I went viral. I took my Outlander outfit that I had made many years ago to Scotland to take pictures up on the Isle of Skye, because of course the Outlander theme song says over the sea to sky, and it's just such a magical island. So I brought my Outlander inspired dress for Claire season 1, and I wore it at the Cullen Mountains in the River Schligen. There's been like this like social media trend that I have no idea about, like how much historical, like how old this myth is. But essentially, to condense it, it's the fairies have left their magic in the water of the river by the old bridge that was built in the 1800s. And if you stick your face into the water for 7 seconds, then you'll be blessed with like eternal youth and beauty. So of course I had to do it. And I videoed myself doing it. My husband videoed me doing it. And currently it has 10.8 million views on Instagram. Like the padding that goes under your armor. So I immediately made him one of those within a week so that he could have that before, you know, he just went into a war. He thinks that it's a little thick and gets him a little hot, so he isn't sure if he'll wear it in the summer. I never made a gambeson before. There's not a whole lot of like stuff about them that I could find. There's like a few things and videos that I watched, but I think it turned out pretty well for my limited understanding of it. After we got back, we ended up going to the Georgia Renaissance Festival, the fall fling that they had. This is one of the first times that they've had a fall fling, and I think since 2020 when they skipped the spring because it was 2020, and then they did a fall one. And we went to that one. I have a video about it if you're interested in seeing what a Ren Fair looked like in COVID times. And so we were very interested in going this time because it was going to be fall, it was going to be cold, could wear more stuff, and also it was Robin Hood themed. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. And I actually had planned to do historically accurate Robin Hood outfits for another thing that ended up not happening, but I already had the fabric for it. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Everything's coming together. I'm going to make Robin Hood outfits for us. So I made him a historically accurate Robin Hood outfit, and I made myself a historically accurate Maid Marian outfit based off of the Disney, because the Disney movie, because that is Robin Hood to me. Robin Hood is a fox. So anyway, our outfits were based off of the Disney version from the 70s, and we had so much fun with our friends and getting to take pictures with like all the cast of characters and everything, and it was delightful and cold, and they had like done some new things to their fair too. They had like built some new stuff, and it's always fun to see them, like they're constantly improving and building over there, like whoa, especially in the last few years it feels like. So that was a lot of fun. Again, I think I'm going to have those videos out around May. Cross our fingers, that's the plan. And then you think I might be done for this year, but I wasn't, because we ended up going to a Victorian Christmas ball the weekend after Christmas, and I decided that this would be a fantastic time for me to make that new ball gown that I've been talking about for like years now, that I had wanted to make a new ball gown, and a wonderful friend of ours, Chip, gave me some beautiful, beautiful lavender silk to make a ball gown out of years ago. I've been waiting and just trying to find time to do it, and I was like, this is it. This is the time. We're going to go to a big fancy ball. This is time to make a new dress. So I did within like a week and a half, because wow, I was just a sewing machine for a lot of that. It turned out really great. I think I am going to add a little bit more trim to the Bertha, but otherwise, perfect. I loved it. I just ran out of time, and because it's one of those things where I'm like sewing it the day of the event. I'm like, thank goodness this is until the evening. I don't have a skirt. I had the entire skirt the morning of the event. Yeeks! But I will have more on that. Now that is, since it was a Christmas ball, I don't think that video will be coming out until the next holiday season. So you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that, but I will be posting some pictures and videos. My Patreon supporters have already seen it, but it'll be coming to Instagram soon. So now it's time to talk about what I want to make in 2025. I've already mentioned a few things, like finishing the Molly project. I'm going to make her pajamas, Miss Victory costume. I'm going to debut the video of her birthday outfit, and I'm also going to try making her Camp Guanigan outfit, but styled in more just like a summer play suit situation. Yes. And then I am also interested in making some more medieval outfits for my husband and I, because we will be going to Gulf Wars in March. That's like a week-long situation, and we're going to need clothes for that, like a lot of clothes. So I'm thinking a few more medieval tunics are going to be needed for that. And we'll decide exactly what that looks like. But we're going to need probably a little bit more clothing for that. So I anticipate some more medieval things coming our way, some more medieval tunics, and maybe some Renaissance. We'll see. That might be thrown in there too. And then as we get closer to the summer, I might, this is a big might, start on the Samantha project. I had been wanting to get to that last year, and it just did not happen. It just didn't. Like sourcing fabrics, like nothing appeared that wasn't incredibly expensive, but because of my new job in Patreon, we have been able to perhaps look into some of those more pricey options for certain things that I might be able to procure now that I was not last year. So looking into that, because I was trying to find a cheaper option. I'm like, we might just have to go with the spoon flower. That's just, to find the perfect pattern for that, we're just going to have to do it. So looking into that, I really want to do that. I really do. I've gotten patterns for it, and I've been trying to source some of those, which is also harder to find, early 1900s patterns that are look like her outfits, that aren't, because I want to do it in more of an adult style than her childlike style. But I've been working on it. I've gotten a couple patterns. So this is a big if, and we aren't sure if we're doing this yet, but I, at some point, really want to do Dragon Con. I've gone to only Dragon Con once, and it was only on a Monday, and no one was there, and it wasn't that fun. It was fun because it was my first con, but I want to go for the whole weekend. We might end up doing that this year. We might not. I don't know what our life is going to look like exactly that weekend, because we have a couple options of things that are happening, and we're trying to plug them all in and see what's happening. But that's one of the options. If I end up doing that, I might actually finish my 1890 Cinderella ball gown that I literally cut out in 2020 and have not sewn together yet. I know, it's a huge UFO that's just sitting on my shelf in there staring at me. So that might end up happening. Also, something that I want to do is make some World War I outfits, a female U.S. Navy personnel for World War I, and also a World War I nurse. I have patterns for those. I just got them from Wearing History for Christmas. I'm very excited, but this would be helpful for my work, and something that I've been interested in doing because ever since I watched Downton Abbey, I love it. And Lady Sybil, being a nurse, my nurse outfit would be very inspired by hers. And then I just think that it's so cool that there were so many women who served in the U.S. Navy during World War I, and I want to highlight them and bring attention to them, and I think that would be really cool. So that'll happen at some point, maybe. And then, you know how it is, things just pop up. And I also want to make a green Bleo that kind of looks like a historically accurate version of Arwen. That's also a holdover from last year. I just said I wanted to make so many things last year, and I made a lot. I made a whole lot, but I still didn't make like every single thing on my list because I was way too aspirational and yeah, and then not know what 2024 had in it for me. So a lot of the things that I want to make this year are like holdovers from last year where I'm just like, well, maybe this year it'll be the time. We'll see. The last thing, so I started this outfit in 2023. I did most of it in 2024, and then I still continued it into 2025, is my Norman tunic that is based off of Roger II of Sicily's coronation outfit. And I've been working on this for forever. I'm still technically working on it. I'm not like done. I keep wanting to add more pearls, more beads to it, but like the construction of it is done. And will continue to add to it as I enter it into different competitions held within the Society for Creative Anachronisms. So I have most of the video done. I think that's going to probably be the next video that comes out. I will then have update videos about entering it into the Arts and Sciences competition for the Society of Creative Anachronisms and the feedback that I got and changes that I make and documentation that I made. I have also written like an entire research paper that I will be posting on my Patreon. A lot of the information will be in the video, but if you're interested more in like the exact sources and things for it, if you want a more in-depth version of it, it'll be on my Patreon. So if you're interested and become a Patreon supporter, you can have access to that. I think that's everything. Good gracious, I did not intend this video to be so long, but thank you so much if you stuck around to the end. I appreciate you greatly. And just thank you so much for supporting my channel and supporting me and Lucky. I know she's really the star of this channel, right? You know, sometimes it just, you don't really realize how much you've done in a year until you start to really take a moment to look back and reflect on just every single thing that happened. So thank you for joining me in my reflections. I hope you all have, you know, looked back on your last year and thought about what you've done and accomplished, because we shouldn't just, you know, focus on next year, right? Like, it's great to have goals and things, but really, like, take time to reflect and, like, think about all that you've done. Like, all that you have, like, already accomplished in 2024 and everything that, you know, went really well. And then think about maybe things that you want to change or do better and goals that you want to accomplish. But make sure you have that moment of self-reflection of congratulating yourself for everything that you've done. I think that's really important. But thank you so much for being here, and just thank you. I hope you have a wonderful year, and until next time, happy sewing.